Meanwhile, we have more news from Russia. They're set to be deploying a nuclear weapon in space. That's right, a nuke in outer space. Says who? An American lawmaker. His name is Mike Turner. He leads an important committee of lawmakers. This week, he declared that the U.S. faces a serious national security threat. I have a quote. Listen to what Turner said. I am requesting that President Biden declassify all information relating to this threat so that Congress, the administration, and our allies can openly discuss the actions necessary to respond to this threat. Why are Americans so alarmed? There's a simple explanation for that. If Russia fires a nuke here on Earth, the US has a shot at defending itself. They can deploy countermeasures, they can launch counter-strikes. But up in space, the Americans are defenseless. Not just them, all major powers are. No country has nuclear weapons in space. An international treaty bans such a deployment. It's called the Outer Space Treaty. But the US is afraid. They fear Russia could disregard this treaty and launch nukes in space. If that happens, it will be a major escalation. Such a weapon could dramatically shift the balance of power. So what can a nuclear space weapon do? What can it target? An obvious target would be satellites. If Russia strikes US satellites, it could destroy civilian communications. Phones will stop working. GPS could fail. Military and space communications become vulnerable. American surveillance capabilities could be disrupted. A strike like that would set back any country by several years. It would cause immense damage to economies. The global financial system, you see, depends on satellites too, for real-time communication. So the damage would be wide-ranging. But for now, the White House says there is no reason to be concerned.
I can confirm that it is related to an anti-satellite capability that Russia is developing. This is not an active capability that's been deployed. And though Russia's pursuit of this particular capability is troubling, there is no immediate threat to anyone's safety.
There is no immediate threat, but Russia is actively pursuing this capability. That's the assessment of the US government. Now, Russia is fighting a war. It is at the receiving end of thousands of Western sanctions. At a time like this, why would Moscow make this a priority? They already have anti-satellite weapons. They can take out specific satellites if they want to. Why do they need a space-based nuclear weapon? What would Russia aim this weapon at? Possibly commercial satellites, the likes of Starlink, which provide internet access from space. The service was started by Elon Musk, and Russia doesn't like it one bit, especially after the Ukraine war began. During the war, Starlink satellites have provided internet access to Ukrainians. Russia sees that as a threat. They've been issuing open threats, in fact. In 2022, a Russian diplomat spoke at the UN. He said private satellites are, quote-unquote, extremely dangerous, and taking them out is fair game. In his speech, this Russian diplomat also declared that Moscow could, quote-unquote, retaliate against them. But why not use the existing weapons? Because they may not be good enough. Russia's anti-satellite weapon can take out a single satellite, but services like Starlink use a network of satellites. So if Russia wants to disable them, they need the capability to take out the entire network. Is this what they're aiming for? What does Moscow say about these reports? The Kremlin has issued a denial. It has termed the American claims malicious fabrication. We hope that's what it is, fabrication. Both the US and Russia should think this through. They're already locked in a fierce arms race here on Earth. Launching a new arms race in space is the last thing anyone wants or needs. If one major power takes that leap, the other will inevitably follow, and it won't end well.